I'm going to tell you a story, but the first thing you have to understand is time doesn't work the way you think it does. You can call me Oracle, because someone wants to talk to you. Mom the call. Alrighty. Continue on with the final conflict. Final Conflict, also known as Omen 3 The Final Conflict, is a 1981 supernatural horror film directed by Graham Baker and written by Andrew Birkin. The same year I was born. The third installment in the Omen series, starring Sam Neill, Lisa Harrow, and Rossano Brazzi. The film tells the progression of the now-adult Damien Thorn to the position of earthly power, set against the countdown to the Second Coming, and attempts of a group of priests to kill the Antichrist, Richard Donner. The director of the first film returns as executive producer. Following the grisly suicide of the U.S. ambassador to the United Kingdom, 32-year-old international conglomerate CEO Damien Thorn is appointed in his office. Appointed in his place, an office his adoptive father, Robert Thorn, once held. Which is honestly kind of creepy. Like, he murdered his adoptive father, and now the dude who replaced him committed suicide. Almost certainly because he wanted that job. Robert Thorn once held, having fully embraced his unholy lineage and having run his company for 7 years, Damien now attempts to reshape the destiny by halting the second coming of Christ. I guess is that Antichrist too. Maybe that's something Antichrist and generals do. I'm not entirely sure. Like, but anyway, maybe this movie has a lesson for me. Maybe just like trying to halt the second coming is something that like Antichrist just do. Maybe it's just part of like the Paracletos Envy. Maybe it's part of the like opposition of Christ deal is to try to prevent them from coming. I'm pretty sure it's not this way though. However, Father DiCarlo, a priest from the Subiaco Monastery, where Father Spoleto spent his final days, and who has observed Damien from afar since his adoptive father's death, acquires 7 daggers of Medigo. Oh, fun note. I made these 7 daggers in one with the fold enchantment. Yeah. Antichrist comes. What a second coming is? I got you a knife for you. Just saying. If we have an Antichrist, that Christ is right there. I got your knife. Just say it. It's right here. Anytime. Or Father DiCarlo, a priest from the Santiago that were dug out into the ruins of Thorn Museum, acquired the 7 daggers of Megiddo that were dug out of the ruins of the Thorn Museum in Chicago following the fire at the end of the second film. Joined by 6 other priests, DiCarlo plans to kill Damien while finding the Christ child. Probably each of them with their own dagger of Megiddo. Meanwhile, Damien becomes romantically involved with journalist Kate Reynolds. Learning of his assassin killing all but DiCarlo over time, he proceeds to mold Reynolds' young Peter into a disciple by playing on the boy's desire for a father figure. After the alignment of stars in the Cassiopeia constellation on March 24th, 1981, Jedi was described as a second star of Bethlehem. David realizes that it is a sign of the second coming and orders his followers to kill all boys born in the United Kingdom on the morning of March 24, 1981, to prevent the Christ's return to power. A week after a string of 31 infant deaths, Reynolds encounters DiCarlo and he reveals Damien's true identity to her while giving her evidence of the murders. Kate sleeps with Damien, and the following morning, she discovers Damien's birthmark. Damien tells Peter to follow DiCarlo, resulting in Damien learning that his advisor, Harvey Dean, had concealed the date of his son's birth when Peter reports that DiCarlo visited Dean's wife, Barbara, and revealed her husband's role in the infant murders. Dean refuses to kill his son and plans to flee the country. He returns home to Barbara, who has killed their son while under Damien's demonic influence. She then kills Dean with a burning iron. DeCarlo later visits Reynolds and reveals that Peter is now under Damien's influence and that the real Christ child is now beyond Damien's reach. Agreeing to help DeCarlo, Reynolds tricks Damien with a promise to bring him to the church ruins where the Christ child is in exchange for Peter. The plan backfires when Damien spots DeCarlo first and uses Peter as a human shield against the dagger, because that's the kind of thing an Antichrist does. Use the kid as a human shield? Yeah, that's Antichrist behavior. That just is. Actually, on a side note, tying back to the list of fictional characters from the end of the ages, with that one president who's the Antichrist, in the movie The Dead Zone, maybe the book too, I'm not sure, but in the movie The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken, there is a the main character who ceases to be able to see numbers after an accident, but starts being able to see the future. Basically sees that this one guy who's running for president, if he becomes president, is going to basically freak out and hit the big red button and send the nukes flying because he has the power and he can do it, and he's just like, he's not equipped for it. He's just like, he's ill-equipped for the power of being president, and he's even less well-equipped for the power of having access to nukes. And so Christopher Walken's character tries to assassinate him while he's on the campaign trail, and like someone spots him. I think he maybe misses the first time, maybe, and the politician picks up a baby and holds it up as a shield. And like he like doesn't take the second shot. He ends up being shot by cops. Because like when there's a baby in the way, he ain't taking that shot. But he dies seeing the politician end up shooting himself in the head because looking at the newspaper of him holding up the baby as a human shield. And I feel like that's a solid vindication of him being like, yeah, I didn't die in vain. Not only is he not going to be president and thus hit the big red button and end the world, he's taken one to the face with himself. He might have actually committed Ubanda. But I know he killed himself. Like, I know it. I know it. I know it. Anyway. As a human shield against the dagger, as Peter dies in his mother's arm, Damien throttles Father DeCarlo before calling out for Christ to appear to him and face him. Face me, you coward, Christ! Face me! I just threw a child in front of his mother to keep that dagger away from me. Now face me, Christ, you coward! Not to undersell the dramatic climax of the final conflict, but like seriously, that's basically what's going on. This leaves Damien open to be stabbed in the back by Reynolds using the Megiddo dagger. So busy screaming at Christ to show up and face him when he's only an infant, and he gets stabbed in the back. Oh my goodness. That's true hilarity. As Damien staggers through the courtyard and collapses, Christ appears in the archway above him as the corporealized bright light. Damien mocks Christ for thinking he has won. Damien, you're dying. Yes, there's going to be another movie, but still. And then collapses and dies from the dagger's wound. DeCarlo reappears carrying Peter's body and hands him to a praying Kate. As they leave the ruins, Bible passages are shown on screen. All right. And that is the final conflict. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe.